where we're going to be going is we're going to start to look at what pride looks like. And then we're also going to start to understand some of the trajectory we went on. So I want to present this in a more organic way. I want you to go on the journey with us, because if I bring too much up at the front end, then you might miss the fact that we had to add some questions and some application into this teaching as we went. You always have to have, in any good story, it can't just all happen in an orderly fashion. We have to have some roadblocks that we throw in the way of the presentation that help us to draw out the content so we can actually learn something. So hopefully we're going to surprise you as we go through this. So here's where I'm going to begin, and then I'm going to hand it over to Jacob. I want to explain that what's very interesting is that I think that we're in a place in the world where this presentation is very, very important. It's almost as if literally over the last year it changed. Because we looked up the definition of pride 6 months ago, and it was the traditional definition of pride. I found out just doing a search last night, because I figured I would just prep myself again to remind myself that the definition of pride has now changed. They have this like literally new definition where they've eliminated the problem of pride. They're actually making it, they're trying to turn it into a very positive thing. Because of the colloquial ways that people are using the word pride now is not the way we understood pride to be in past generations. So here's where I'm going to start off with the definition, is that I actually found something, a definition. It's funny, it was hidden on the Merriam-Webster website talking about the history of the definition of pride. So at least they gave a little bit in this article, and I'm only going to read one or two lines from it. But where it's what we conventionally think of as pride, not this new, like, it's a good thing version of pride. So here's what I found. It says, in its original sense, pride was hardly something to be proud of, as it carried the meaning of inordinate self-esteem and an unreasonable conceit of superiority. Okay, that's what I think pride usually is. It's not a good thing. Pride, according to Scripture, pride comes before destruction, so I don't think we want destruction in our life. Now, in going through this then, we wanted to find what does pride actually look like, and we can read a bunch of different scriptures, and that's what we did do. Jacob and myself, we looked through Scripture, and we looked through a bunch of different examples of what pride looks like in Scripture, but the most comprehensive examples of pride were found in Job chapter 41. So we're going to read these this morning. But here's the reason why Job chapter 41 is so important, is because some people think that Leviathan is some kind of sea creature. Okay, that's not what the scriptures are saying. It's a metaphor. But there's a reason why we're going to be reading Job chapter 41. So I'm going to begin at the end, and then I'm going to let Jacob take over and start to describe the rest of the chapter. But here's why we're reading it. Is Job chapter 41, verse 34 is the conclusion, but it's very, very important, because Leviathan is that he that's talking about. He beholds all high things. He's the king over all the children of pride. So we want to understand when people are narcissistic, there's a pride issue there, then we need to start to look through what does it say about the nature and the character of what pride looks like in application. We're going to read through from the beginning of Job chapter 41 to start to understand what does it mean to have this pride in our life. And then we're going to start to look at some other things that are really surprising about the nature of narcissism, even the original story of Narcissus, as it pertains to where we need to go.